Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Witches of the Moon. I'm your Friday hostess, Natalie. This week's topic is witching on a budget. Now, as you can see, I got the camera quality fixed a little bit. I'm still trying to kind of learn this program. I had this video recorded yesterday. I recorded it with my camera because I thought there was better quality, better sound quality on there. However, when I put the card into the computer, it's not reading the card. It's not playing the video from the card at all. I can't open it up with any of the programs. So we're just going to go back to the camera. I was able to change the resolution, so hopefully I'll look a little bit better to you now. Sometimes fuzzier is better in my case. So anyway, this week's topic is witching on a budget. And I think this is a good topic because I think most of us operate on a budget of some sort. But I want to point out very clearly that you need absolutely nothing that you have to pay any money for to witch. You can be a witch using things that you find around you, using your own visualization, your own energy that you manifest in whatever format that you choose to do it. So why have tools at all? Well, that's because tools and things like that help us to visualize better. They help us to focus our energies better, and they help to bring in additional energy into our craft work, which always makes our craft work a little more, gives it a little more oomph. So, that being the case, if you are on a budget, what are some strategies for witching on a budget? Well, my first and foremost strategy for witching on a budget is the dollar store. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but the Dollar Tree, I don't know what dollar stores are in your area, but we have one here called the Dollar Tree, where everything is $1 or less. And I have found multiple things, wonderful things at the Dollar Tree that I have used in my practice. I have found frames for making scrying mirrors. Now you have to be careful because you do want one that's glass, not plastic. So you have to check some of the things. I mean, don't just assume that whatever's at the Dollar Tree is going to work. But you can get candles, you can get matches or lighters, you can get paper for writing down, different colored papers for use in your spell work if you're creating a sigil or something like that. You can get different colored pens that are also good for that if you are not a user of magical inks or you don't create your own magical inks. You don't have to. You can use different colored inks that correspond, so you can get dollar pens, which are real nice. Another thing that I have picked up at the Dollar Tree that I really like are seeds, because if you're like me and you don't have a lot of money to spend on herbs and things like that, some of those herbs can get very expensive. Mountain rose herbs, as much as I love them, they sell a lot of really high quality herbs, but it's expensive. Shipping's expensive and it takes a long time to receive them. Now, planting your own herbs certainly takes a lot of time. Chia does have an herb garden. It's pretty inexpensive. I think it's like 20 bucks. And you can grow 4 or 5 herbs that are pretty good. I think it's rosemary, thyme, sage, I think is one of them you can get. So you can get seeds at the Dollar Tree that you can start to grow your own herbs, which would help you long term in terms of cost. Now, again, that's a long-term goal, however, because a lot of those herbs take time to grow to a point where you can actually take cuttings from the plant. However, I will state that the rosemary plant that I planted 2 years ago has grown huge, and it's actually big enough within just this short time that I can take clippings from it. I was taking clippings from it the first year that I planted it. My lavender plant, on the other hand, although it has budded and it does bud and make very nice buds, you don't want to take more than 20% of the total growth of your plant. So I don't feel that there's enough there to really make a difference, but you can certainly grow your own plants and get the seeds from the Dollar Tree. Candles, like I mentioned, colored pens, paper, various different things that you might use in your practice. Sometimes other little things might be present that I think, oh, that might be good. Sometimes you can find dried herbs at the Dollar Tree. Five Below, if you have a Five Below store, or Family Dollar, Family General. Those kinds of stores tend to have a variety of dried herbs that you can use for your practice. I find that a lot of times my local grocery store has little $1 herb boxes. In fact, I meant to grab them because, what a coinkydink. I didn't put it back, but I do happen to have it here from when I recorded yesterday. The Kroger, local Kroger, has these boxes of herbs, and I got this one on sale. They had rosemary, sage, thyme, I think, on sale for $1 for this good sized box. Now, it's not as good as the fresh, but it's still usable. It works. And actually, I have found this to be a pretty decent quality really. The Kroger brand is pretty good. So looking at your local grocery store, a lot of times in the dollar bin, you can find things that are very inexpensive that you can utilize in your practice. Perhaps the most inexpensive way to go at all is to go out within nature. Look at what's in the area around you. Learn about the herbs and the plants that grow around you and how can you utilize those in your practice, because then you can just walk out your front door and gather herbs or things as you need them. Now remember to be respectful of the plant, remember to be respectful of the earth, and to leave a thank you gift, perhaps replanting something that you have taken. So if you get some of the seeds from the dollar store, you can plant something out in the wild. Maybe it'll pick up and take, and you'll have another ready source at your hands. But going out just within nature, within your own community, and learning those herbs and things that are around you on a day-to-day basis that you don't have to spend any money on. You can just clip it. We have a lot of oak trees around here where I live. So acorns. I have an oak tree in my front yard. If I need acorns for a spell, I just go and grab them. You can use the oak leaves. You can use dandelions. I mean, there are a lot of different things that grow wild. Sometimes you'll find even some of the baneful herbs that grow wild in your area if you know what you're looking for. I happened to be at a client's house and I saw that she had a pokeberry tree. So I actually asked her if I could collect some of the pokeberries to use in ink, in natural ink and in natural dyes, and she said absolutely. I didn't have to tell her I was a practicing witch, which I wouldn't have done because she's uber Christian, but I did tell her that, you know, I use them to make a natural dye, which I do, and I use some to make an ink for in my maledictive workings. So when I'm making sigils for things like that. So it's you can find a lot of things readily at your disposal without having to spend a single dime. I like to support my other witches that have products. You can make your own products. Learn to make your own soaps. Learn to make your own candles. Learn to make your own, you know, products like that. I make my own soaps. I make my own candles. I make my own lip balms. I try to make my own incenses. Right now I'm doing loose incense, but I'm learning how to make my own stick incenses. So things like that you can learn to do on your own. And if you just budget yourself, okay, this month I'm going to buy this ingredient, or every 2 weeks I'm going to buy the ingredient I need to make this one product. So this month I'm going to spend it on this, or this 2 weeks I'm going to buy this one item. Then the next 2 weeks I'm going to buy this item. So you can amass a pretty good amount. Sometimes bartering or trading with other witches. I was in a group that was an herbal swap group that I really liked. Actually, I think it was spearheaded by Erin, Amethyst Moon, from this channel. She had started a group where we could swap herbs. I ended up having to leave that group because I couldn't participate in all the swaps that I wanted to, because my husband was having a kidney fit about the shipping and constantly sending packages to other people, but I was constantly getting packages, and I got a lot of the herbs that I have from the first swap there. So that was really good because I got a lot of herbs that I can't find around here, like astragalus root, raspberry leaf, things like that that you can't typically get in this area. Immediately I was able to get. The lady sent me lots of jasmine. I have 6 tons of chamomile. I have a lot of marigold because I ordered those on Amazon. I find that having an Amazon card is helpful. You can budget yourself to spend, you know, this month I'm going to spend 20 bucks on herbs, and I'm going to get this, this, and this. You can get a lot of resins from Amazon very inexpensively as well. So if you have an Amazon card and you're an Amazon shopper, look on Amazon. You can find dragon's blood resin on there. Just make sure that you know which dragon's blood it is you're looking for, because there is more than one type. So make certain that what you're ordering is indeed what you're wanting, but a lot of times you can find it very inexpensively. I found that dragon's blood is what they call an add-on item. It means you can't buy it directly. Well, you can from some suppliers, but sometimes Amazon will have it as an add-on item. So they'll have it as, if you add it on to an existing order, you can get it for like $1 or something like that. So it's a good way to go. So checking out some of the bargains and things like that that you can find. Some of your local botanicas, bartering with other witches and trading with other witches and saying, hey, I've got this. Can anybody trade me out for this or that I'm in need of? Sometimes that's an inexpensive way to acquire materials that you need. The most expensive thing that I think you're going to spend a lot on is some of your physical tools, like a wand or an athame, which you can actually make for yourself. I made my own athame. I've showed it on here. I know I got some flack on one of the videos that I did about how ugly my athame was. But you know what? It doesn't matter how ugly it is. How functional is it for me? That's all that counts. I don't give a rat's ass what anybody else thinks about it. because it works for me, and I made it for myself, and I made it by hand with no tools whatsoever except a carving tool. As a matter of fact, one of these. I used a couple of these, and I did it all by hand. So no, it's not pretty, but it is functional, and it cost me less than $2 to make. So, you know, it works for me, and I'm quite proud of it. I may end up trying to make another one and maybe do the handle differently. I tried to make like a curved handle like this, and it didn't turn out as well as I'd like. I wanted the triple moon at the top, but the two end pieces broke off, and then the dog chewed the moon, full moon off the top, so I just sliced it, and, you know, it's got teeth marks in it from the dog now, and that sort of thing, but it still works for me, and that's all that matters. So, like I said, I was able to accomplish that for less than $2. So, there are a lot of things that you can do. You can acquire little bits of materials here and there. The other thing that's kind of expensive to order are the essential oils. Sometimes you can find really good bargains on essential oils. If you look on Amazon, trading out again with another witch might be a way to do it. Blended oils might be a better option than just the essential oil. And sometimes you can infuse herbs into your own oils. You can use a carrier oil like grapeseed oil or walnut oil or coconut oil. You can buy coconut oil in the cooking section of Walmart. Like $5 for a good sized can. I mean, it's not inexpensive, but it's not horribly expensive that it's so out of your budget you're never going to be able to have it. So that might be something that you can do. Opening your own shop. A lot of us have our own shops, and again, I like to support my fellow witches. Nadia, we talked about some of our favorite witchy shops. Nadia and Joe and James and all of those people are all people that I really like to support because I think they make good quality products with a heart-centered thing. And sometimes if you are in need of a certain product but it's out of your budget on a commercial store, sometimes if you approach another witch and say, hey, look, can we bargain? You know, can I do this and then maybe pay you a little bit of this, or this is what I can afford, what can you help me out with? Sometimes you'll find that you can get a lot of help that way too, or people are willing to send you some things that you may have in exchange for something else. So that goes back to the bartering. Let's see, the other thing, essential oils. Like I said, if you can't afford your own essential oils, it depends on what you're using them for. I find that Walmart in their housewares area where they sell the incense, they sell incense and candles and picture frames and things like that, kind of over in that area. They now sell 100% therapeutic grade, or it's aromatherapy grade essential oils. So if you're wanting it for something that you're not going to use on your skin or ingest, like I use peppermint essential oil for my lip balms and other essential oils for my lip balms, but I make certain that I buy a grade that is ingestible because some of them are, some of them are not. So you can get ylang ylang for $4. It's not a bad smelling ylang ylang. It's not the best, but it's not bad. And considering that's one of the more expensive essential oils, if you've gone on and priced the little jars, they have a good size bottle. It is 100% essential oil. However, it may not be, you know, the same grade that you would use for like a perfume or a body gel or an ointment. But if you're planning on anointing a candle with it or using it in an incense or something like that, it may not be too bad. And now, as with anything, I'm going to caution you now, if you don't know what you're allergic to, so test it out. And I would never recommend putting an essential oil directly on your skin without having some sort of a carrier oil, like I use beeswax and peppermint, grapeseed oil, coconut oil, that kind of thing. You can mix it and see, test it and see how it works. You know, just a little bit. If you start to get a rash or something like that, don't do it. But, you know, you can use gloves to anoint your candles, or you can use a Q-tip to anoint your candles, whatever it takes. But you can use some of those things as well, and those are very inexpensive. So if you budget yourself, okay, this month I want this oil, this oil, this oil. They're $5 a piece. This week I'm going to buy this one. In 2 weeks I'll buy this one. And in the next 2 weeks I'll buy that one. And then you have your oils, and they can last you for quite some time. So you can do things on a budget with tools that you feel are necessary without breaking the bank. Another thing to do is maybe set yourself a strict spending budget. Okay, I'm going to give myself $10 a week for the month, so that's what, $40 a month that I'm going to spend on witchy supplies, and once it's gone, that's it. Because it is very tempting once you start looking at stuff to go, oh, that's really nice, I really like that, oh, look at that, and ooh, shiny, because I'm like that, and I love to spend, and I have an Amazon card, so it's like, you know, I don't even take the card out, it's just like to the account, just click, 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 click. It's really dangerous. So you have to be very disciplined, but of course that's part of being a witch, is learning to be disciplined, is it not? So Witching on a budget can certainly be done. Again, you don't really need anything outside of what you've got right here to do it, but you can find things most often in nature, in your own environment. But for those things that you really feel you'd like to have, that you think will add to your practice, be creative in your thoughts. Look around for things that you can use to make inks. Berries from juice make really good inks. So you can mix it with a little bit of alcohol and, you know, have an ink. With the pokeberries, I just crushed up the pokeberries, poured the juice into a container, added an equal amount of vodka, shake it up, and there you go. And it's lasted. I mean, they will last you for quite a while. So, you know, as long as you keep them in an airtight container, you're good. So there are a lot of things that you could do to witch on a budget. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that you really don't need anything. I do understand that it helps to have the tools, to have the cauldron, to have the things that you feel will help you visualize your craft more. And I do understand how important that can be, and especially in specific workings that are detailed in nature. So that's how I do it. I hit the Dollar Tree, I hit the bargain bins, I hit up other witches that may be interested in trading or bartering services. I decide in advance that I want a specific thing, and I will say, okay, this week I'm going to buy that, next week I'll buy something else. So there are things that you can do, even if you're working on a budget, to help you gain the tools that you feel are necessary. Appreciate y'all watching, and I hope y'all have a wonderful week.